Hi, and welcome. Today I'm going to review a game named Blake. I recently came across it in my local library and decided to give it a try. It's a PlayStation 5 game made by Gamious, and I have my notes on the screen right behind you. So, a quick summary of the game. It is set in Province Oaks in 1986. Lake is an incredibly beautiful and relaxed open-world game that combines a free-roaming driving sim and a story-driven point-and-click adventure. You play as Meredith Wiss, a woman who for her 2 weeks off of her ordinary office job in the big city went back to her hometown to deliver mail in this quiet and calm town. She's there to cover for her dad, who is out of town with her mom. And while playing, you get to know the residents, their daily lives, and what they're up to. And with my take on the game, firstly, I quickly grew very fond of this game. I really like it, and it was extremely hard for me to put down. It was a very nice experience, and I'm so glad I gave this game a chance. I must admit, it is quite janky sometimes. For example, the backgrounds can glitch and sort of like give white flashes on the screen, and sometimes the subtitles doesn't line up or work at all. And I found that majority of problems come towards the ending of the game, which kinda sucks because there is where a lot of the story and dialogue happens. But I would still say that it is not anything that is breaking the game, breaking the immersion, or ruining a playthrough. I enjoyed getting to know the characters and seeing them over and over, day by day, on my regular route delivering mail. It was fun building a relationship with them that, in the end, let me pick which ending I wanted, because it is all about what you, the player, wants to do, and there is nothing wrong, no wrong choices. Just driving around and delivering the mail while listening to a chill playlist really made me think of my own reality. How I, and many others, so often get stuck in all the stress of the day-to-day life. And how much we would all just benefit from slowing down and relaxing. Dropping the worry, if even just for a moment. To me, this game was, as I said, extremely hard to put down. I played it in one day. I played through the whole game, and when I reached one of the 3 endings, I had played for about 8 hours. I later went back to get to Platinum, which did not take long because I had gotten majority of the missable trophies, and they're all pretty straightforward. Not really anything that missable, just be nice to people, and you will get majority of them. Did also not take me that long because I basically just needed the different endings. And there is 3 different endings, all of which make sense, and there is not a lot of difference between them, I would say. They could certainly have expanded on each ending, but it is great as it is. Personally, I would say this game is a solid 8 out of 10. It's a good game. It gives me peace of mind, and it makes me yearn for a similar real-life situation that's just as calm and slow-paced as this game. It's not my usual kind of game though. as I mainly play action and adventure games, but it was a nice addition to my play history, and I will definitely be adding some of the songs to my personal playlists. I have already added 2 of them. I have not found the other songs yet, but I will be looking out for them. And now we will be getting into the second part of this video, which is a lot more technical. And at the end I will try and give an unbiased score for this game. Heads up, I have not been looking at any other reviews of this game, I have not been reading any other reviews, and I've not seen what this game has been rated on Metacritic or IMDb or any other place. So, completely unbiased what I would say based on the technical parts of the game. So first of all, we have the core loop. You start your day at the post office, you get into your van to deliver mail to the town, and during that you occasionally have conversations with some of the residents. And sometimes this impacts what happens once the workday has ended. Once all deliveries are made, you get to return to the post office and end the workday. Once that has been done, it is usually a cutscene, sometimes a phone call, and depending on your choices, you either get to choose between, for example, reading or watching TV while staying at home, or if you have, during your workday, agreed to meet someone or help someone out, you will get a dialogue about that and a cutscene before the game ends. The core loop is very repetitive and it varies ever so slightly each day. So I would not suggest this game for someone that cannot handle doing the same thing over and over and over again. That is kind of the main part of the game, to be repetitive. For me personally, it was lovely, as the slight variation kept it interesting enough to want to continue, and the characters were built so that you wanted to engage with them, to get more dialogue, to get more story, and see where it all would lead. For world design and layout, the layout of the town was very easy to navigate. There's almost no roads that you can get lost on. They all basically loop around, because the town is built all around the lake, as the name of the game suggests. And there's not a lot of signs of what the roads are called. There's the classic in neighborhood signs of that street that way, that street that way, and so on. And for the aesthetics and art style, it is a very cozy, fully 3D rendered game with a soft feel to it. It is somewhat realistic, but it's not realism, and it's not cartoony either. And the style is, I would say that it's simple. It's simple yet very captivating. The scenery is amazing, lovely. I love it. And just the view out of the lake, very well made. The water graphics are amazing for such a simple game to say. The mountain views also look amazing, and that is just perfect. It's lovely. The story, it's very straightforward. You have taken 2 weeks off from your ordinary office job, which is significantly more stressful, to deliver mail in a small town. The intentional friction comes in here as there is no sprint or run button. It is just an ever so slightly faster walk, maybe like 1.10, 1.25 times speed, which got frustrating in the beginning, but then I realized that it is intentional and it's something that forces you to slow down. The game forces you to relax, to calm down and chill. The conversations sometimes feel a bit rigid, and in situations where there's multiple characters, the ones that are not engaged in the conversation with the player seems to be completely empty and spaced out. Like there's nothing happening with them. They are also pretty rigidly placed in their seats and such, which makes, for example, a setting where there's plenty of people, like a diner, seem off. Like it's weird and something is awkward about it. Going up to the features, there is a fast travel feature. I didn't use it a lot, but I did test it out. It works, yes, as it's supposed to, but I don't think that it's necessary. It feels like driving around and slowing down is the main part of the game. It's supposed to be slow and take a while. So the fast travel definitely makes it easier, but I don't think it's necessary, especially not since they have, in my opinion, an even better feature, which is autopilot, which lets the car drive on its own to a selected destination. This I used quite a lot, and I loved it because there is all the calm from driving, listening to chill music, but I don't have to hold in a button the entire time, making my finger hurt. So that was very nice. The UI, yeah. The map was quite difficult to interact with for the first time, and the first time in the game I quite honestly avoided using the main map because I couldn't get it to work. It's according to the modern mapping, the D-pad up and down to zoom in and out of the map, which didn't work at all. I had to learn in the control settings that L2 and R2 were also used as secondary to zoom in and out of the map to even get it to work. Luckily, they worked as it. So that was not so nice, but I got it to work. Another thing with the map is that the navigation is quite unusual. Most players will probably be used to the navigation being done by the D-pad or left joystick. Not in this game, it's the right joystick that navigates the map, which felt very weird. But yeah, it worked. Navigation on the map worked. Overall, the map looked great. It shows you clearly where to go, where packages or letters need to be delivered. It shows you where you can fast travel to, and where you can autopilot to. You can also place out markers of your own. So, for the majority of features in the map, it works just as it's supposed to. It is just the zoom in and zoom out that is the major issue there. And the right joystick, but that can easily be fixed by going into the control settings. However, the D-pad buttons does not help going to the control settings. I tried that multiple times, couldn't get it to work. Then the minimap with the deliveries marked out, it makes it very easy to navigate where to go and such, so that you don't need to take up the entire map all the time. It is very simple to use, very straightforward. It shows the maps, it shows the deliveries, and after a while it makes navigation so easy that you barely even have to look at the map to begin with. So now to the biggest part, the jankiness of the game, as I mentioned. As I mentioned in the first part of the review, it is quite janky. It's subtitles not lining up with the audio, as said, and sometimes not even working at all.
It'll be like you're right there with us.
Sometimes the subtitles show a completely different sentence than what is being said, and sometimes it is delayed, sometimes it's earlier. So yeah, not that great. There is also times where the audio and mouth movements don't line up, and here we're not talking about slight delay, seeming like someone spoke and then the audio came. No, it is so bad that it sometimes gets confusing of which of the characters is the one doing the talking. So that is very unfortunate. I found that most of these issues are towards the end, in the ending cutscenes and such. That is good that it's not the entire game, but it is very unfortunate that it is at such an important part of the game. Sometimes there is also characters that float a significant amount of space over the ground, not just like a few centimeters, like we're talking probably this much above the ground or something, instead of standing on it. This I saw in the campgrounds, I think it's called. And in the very same place you can sit down on a log. I did that when I tried to speak to the person instead, as I had tried to sit down on said log. I instead sat down basically straight across from the log in the thin air. Not a log there, no, the log was basically in front of me. So yeah, some weird glitches like that as well. But again, nothing that significantly breaks the game or makes it unplayable. So, to the technical score. Overall, I would say that this game is probably no more than a 5 out of 10. It is definitely not bad, but it can certainly improve from all the jankiness that I previously stated, as well as the map navigation, buttons not working, and so on. But it is a genuinely beautiful game, and the jankiness aside, it does what it's supposed to. It's supposed to be slow, so that you take your time with it, you calm down and relax. And that is exactly what it does. So I would say that it's probably a 5 out of 10. And that about sums up both my personal opinion on the game and the more technical part of the game. Name review. So it is very nice. And I am so happy that I borrowed it from my local library, and I will definitely be checking that section more often to see if there's any more interesting games. See ya!